I want to thank you for showing up today. I wanted to update you on the investigation in regards to the death of Robert Farwell. It's an ongoing investigation. There are some things that I won't be at liberty to discuss, but I wanted to give you an outline of events and a realistic analysis or a realistic update on what we expect to do in the future. At 4:28 a.m. on Thursday, April 8th, there was a 911 call received regarding a stabbing which had occurred at a residence in Haines Township. EMS and fire personnel arrived on scene at 4:49 a.m. and they began life-saving measures. Troopers arrived shortly after. That address was later identified as the residence of Brittany Geisweith. The stabbing victim was identified as Robert Farwell. Mr. Farwell was taken by EMS to Mount Nittany Medical Center. He was pronounced dead at 6:58 a.m. Ms. Geisweith was transported to the Rockview Barracks and has given a statement. The scene was secured and Troop G Forensics was called to process the scene, collect evidence, and send it down to the state crime lab. An autopsy was performed on Friday, April 9th. A preliminary report from that autopsy confirms that Mr. Farwell died as a result of one single stab wound to the chest. Based on the investigation to date, it's presumed that the knife was a serrated steak knife and that Brittany Geisweith stabbed Robert Farwell. We have yet to receive a coroner's report or the forensic pathologist report. State police are also waiting the results from toxicology labs, and evidence processed at the scene is at the state lab, and we're waiting results on that. We're asking help from the public for anyone that might know anything about this incident. These individuals, and if they do, they're encouraged to contact the state police, the Rockview Barracks. In the meantime, we ask for patience as the state police conduct their investigation, and we'd be happy to answer the questions that we can at this point in time.
What else are you awaiting? You mentioned coroner's report, and what else are you waiting before you get to the point of deciding whether charges will be filed or won't be filed?
We've got autopsy reports, state crime lab reports, forensic downloads of electronic devices. Anything else, Tom?
Further investigations too, further interviews.
Yeah, there are a significant number of interviews and investigations that will be conducted.
Can you
and we can't comment on what those cell phones and other downloads will lead us to.
Can you comment on whether there's any previous history between these two?
We're investigating the previous history between the two and the backgrounds, and anyone with information is encouraged to contact us so that we can proceed on those matters.
Has she been cooperative so far?
Ms. Geisweith came in and cooperated with police and gave a statement, yes.
How long was the blade, the steak knife?
It's gonna be your common everyday household steak knife.
So their relationship at this point, whether it was boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, at that point, we're not sure.
Well, that is the subject of the investigation. We understand that they had a relationship and had a relationship at that point in time. The full extent and nature of that, I'm not comfortable stating it on the record as we sit here today.
Do you have a rough timeline for how long all of this might take?
How long do we expect we would have to wait for the crime lab to process information?
All the evidence was sent to the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab. Depending on their caseload, this could take several months. They'll prioritize the evidence, the case, and they'll get the evidence, the results back to us as soon as possible.
So still no charges have been filed, she's still free right now?
No charges have been filed, and we won't make a decision on whether to file charges until we have a complete investigation and enough information to know that we're making a just decision. And at this point, we have more work to do before I can reach that decision, before the police are comfortable with it. They know what happened and why it happened. And until we're there, we're not gonna rush to judgment. We're gonna make sure that we get this right.
And just to be sure, she is not in custody as of right now, is that right?
That's correct.
Do you have any reason to believe that there was anyone else involved beyond these two at this point?
I can say that at this point, I do not have any information that leads me to conclude that involves anybody other than these two. And again, that's why we ask the public if they have any information on either of these individuals, the events that led up to it, that they contact the state police at Rockview.
So police at the house, they're also going over the van in front. Has the investigation stretched to any other areas, Penn Valley, anywhere else, or is it still centered basically what happened there?
No, the investigation goes beyond just the crime scene. And when I say that, that means that there are subject interviews that go well beyond the crime scene.
The search warrants made mention that it appeared at least that she was under the influence of drugs. And the question at this point, do you believe that is relevant to anything that happened?
Everything's relevant at this point. And we are awaiting toxicology reports and further information on that.
Was she given a test, a blood test?
I'll hold comment on that until we have the results.